Hi friends, welcome back to this channel English Literature with Itam. I'm back with another amazing topic in English literature, and that is the ethics and morality in the literature. As this topic is quite uh, different and new, and most of the time people don't focus on this area, and they limit the literature to the different issues of the society, whether they are related to identity, class consciousness, whether they are related to the gender, whether they are related to the diaspora. But these ethics and moralities, though a great part of the literature, are bypassed. So I felt that I should make a video on the ethics and morality in literature, and I would show that how the literature deals with this tension. So as morality is the sense of right and wrong. It is a personal belief about what is right and what is wrong. And then ethics is the systematic reflection on those beliefs of the right and wrong. So, though our society also works on certain parameters or certain norms and rules and the regulations, and those set norms are expected to be followed by every person or every citizen. And then so society judges those all actions on the basis of those some on the basis of some other rules which they call the ethics. So though they ethics and morals appear as the philosophical concepts, but they are something beyond these philosophical questions. So without wasting our time, let us put some highlight on the ethics and morality in the literature. So as I mentioned that they're not just the philosophical concepts, but they are the core of the human experience. And literature is the most powerful medium through which these experiences are explored. Every story, every novel, every play, every poem, whatever we read, that is fundamentally asking one question, that what is the right thing to do? For example, in Eugene O'Neill's The Hairy Ape, calling hairy ape a wild beast is right or wrong? In Rime the Ancient Mariner by S.T. Coleridge, killing the albatross is right or wrong? Or even in the Scarlet Letter, committing adultery or having an illegitimate child. So I was saying that how the different literary works raise the question that what is right and what is wrong. So almost every piece of literature raises this moral question in the sense of right and wrong. And by raising the question of right and wrong, literature does not give easy answers. Instead, it creates moral dilemmas, challenges our beliefs, and forces us to confront the uncomfortable truths about ourselves and society. So, as I earlier mentioned, that morality is the personal belief about the right and wrong, and ethics are the systematic reflection of those beliefs. In literature, these two often collide. For example, a character may feel something is right, it is moral, as doing adultery or having a extramarital affair for Hester Prynne in the Scarlet Letter is morally right for her. But society or philosophy may judge it differently, and she is ethically considered wrong. So this moral conflict is usually the heart of the narrative. For example, Crime and Punishment by the Fyodor Dostoevsky presents as the strongest moral conflict. There, the protagonist Raskolnikov commits a murder, and he believes that this murder is justified on the various grounds. First, that he thinks he is an extraordinary man, so he can commit the murder. He also believes that great individuals can transcend moral laws. For him, some individual can transcend the moral laws. They can defy the social rules. But after the crime, he is destroyed by guilt. So this novel shows us that when somebody bypasses the laws, bypasses the social norms, ethics, and moralities, so he becomes mentally ill. So this novel also shows that the ethics is not just eternal law. Our morality is deeply internal and psychological. And even if society doesn't catch you, but your conscience will. So conscience would say that, yes, this is wrong. And it would decide the penalty and the punishment of your wrongdoing. So we can also say that when society is wrong, an individual is right, it creates a different kind of phenomena, a different kind of social tension. For example, sometimes literature challenges not the individual but the society, because the society is wrong. And this we can see in To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. There, Atticus Finch defends a black man, where the is racist, society is torturing or using the racial remarks. Atticus Finch defends that society, and that society says that he is guilty. Who? This black man. Because he is accused of raping a white girl. But ethics says no, he deserves the justice. This black man is not wrong. Because those allegations are proven wrong. He did not do this crime, but because of his race and color, he is considered as the criminal, as a rapist. And this Atticus Finch, who is a liar also, he stands for the moral courage against the social injustice. And this way, literature tries to tell us that the society is not always ethical. And also the true morality often requires the resistance. Sometimes we also see the tragedy of the moral blindness. And some characters fail morally, but your falling or failing them morally is not intentional. It is accident. Because not because they are evil, but because they lack the awareness. And this we can see in the Oedipus Rex by Sophocles, where Oedipus unknowingly commits terrible acts because he kills his father and marries his own mother. But all this is happened due to his ignorance, his faith, and his lack of self knowledge. So this work also raises a powerful ethical question that can somebody be morally guilty without intention? If somebody does something morally wrong, and it is quite intentional, so the teacher raises the question whether that person can be morally guilty or considered wrong and right. We also see the corruption and the moral decay. And we see that how people are morally corrupt, and for the sake of money, they can do anything. They bypasses the social laws, morality, and ethics. And this we can see in The Great Gatsby by Fitzgerald, where the Gatsby pursues love through wealth. He thinks that he can earn the, he can buy the love through the power of the wealth. And Tom and Daisy, there in this work, act irresponsibly without the consequences. So this work shows that how the money and the wealth creates a world where the morality is easily ignored. And this we see in the poem of William Wordsworth, the world is too much with us. That how we are morally very corrupt and unethical for the sake of money. And even Shakespeare once said that we can forget all kith and kin but not money. And the human is the most self-centered species on this earth. So this novel, The Great Gatsby, critiques the capitalism, how the power corrupts the kings also, superficial successes, and also the moral emptiness of the elite class. And this moral emptiness we can see in George Eliot's Mill on the Floss also. And then in Hard Time by Charles Dickens as well. The next, we see the modern ethics, technology, and the humanity. That in contemporary literature, ethics become more complex. And this one issue can be seen in the Never Let Me Go by Kazuo Ishiguro. In this novel, there are cloned bodies who are made just to donate or just to sell them in the market, and human are created just to sell them in the market. This shows that human life as the commodity, or human organs as the commodity or commodified. And there in this novel, Never Let Me Go, we see the cloning, cloned bodies, human identity, and exploitation. And these clones are newly created human beings are treated as less than a human being. And this issue raises a modern ethical question that what defines a human being? Because cloned and newly created human beings are considered treated less than a human being. So then what defines a human being? Is it ethical to sacrifice some lives for the others? Because there is no value of the life of these cloned bodies in this novel. And this moral and ethical ambiguity can be seen in the war also. In the war literature that shows how the morality becomes unclear in extreme situations. And during the war, we see that all the ethics and the morals are bypassed, and there becomes a great fight for the survival only. So survival matters. And this we have seen in the World War First, in the World War Second, and in the contemporary ongoing Middle East war as well. So in this All Quiet on the Western Front, this is a work in which we see the soldiers killed others to survive, and there the violence becomes normalized. And this novel shows that the war destroys the moral clarity, and also the right and wrong blur into the survival. As I earlier mentioned, that there becomes no right and wrong. Shakespeare said that everything is fair in love and war. This we can see in uh, the war literature or during the war as well. Then we also see the individual and the collective morality. For example, individual must choose between personal ethics and the collective norms. Many of us have our personal laws or personal moral laws, but the collective moral laws are different. So maybe what we feel right can be wrong for the others, or collectively it can be immoral. And this we can see in the Kite Runner by Khaled Hosseini, where the protagonist Amir's moral failure becomes a microcosm because he betrays his friend Hassan, and his journey is from guilt to the redemption. Earlier, he thinks that he has done something wrong, but later on, he gets the redemption. So, this work, The Kite Runner, shows us that morality is not fixed. It evolves through experience and the remorse. Sometimes the moral laws are created by ourselves also. But these moral laws are not fixed. And we can see it through through the Jacques Derrida as well, where the moral and ethics are socially constructed and socially created. And they are not fixed, they are dynamic. There are some ethical theories in literature also, that literature reflects major ethical philosophies like utilitarianism, which talks about the greatest good. And we can see it in the crime and punishment that justifies the murder. Also, deontology, duty-based ethics, we can see them in To Kill a Mockingbird, where Atticus Finch does his duty, as I mentioned earlier. Then we have the existential ethics, and they are seen in the modern literature where meaning is uncertain. So this way we can see that the literature is a kind of ethical laboratory, and you can think the literature as a safe space to test the moral ideas. In real life, actions have the consequences, but in literature we can explore without the risk. So remember that to know the concept of right and wrong, we are expected to do some actions or do some kind of things and get the practical experience. But through the literature, we can get that experience without committing any that kind of sin. Literature tells us that what is right and wrong. And this way, literature teaches us the standard of livelihood and how to live peacefully, happily, and respectfully in the society. And this way, the literature makes us the good citizens of our nation. So, through reading any literature, literary work, we can ask out to ourselves that what would I do in this situation? If any such situation occurs, then what would be my response? Would I act like this character, or would I react quite differently? For example, in The Untouchable by Mulk Raj, we can see that Baka is treated like the inhumans. He is treated like a machine only. His body is less valued. So morally, that society is wrong. It is completely wrong treating somebody like the human, like the non-human or inhuman or like the animal. But how the Baka responds to all this situation, and how he resists social domination and social stereotype and comes out of it. So this teaches us that how we can react and act in any particular situation in life. And this way we can say that in today's world, when there is the AI, there is the climate crisis, there is the social inequality, ethical questions are more urgent than ever. And literature helps us to develop the empathy, understand complexity, and question the authorship. So let us conclude that the literature is a moral awakening, and ethics in literature is not about teaching right or wrong only, but it is about awakening our consciousness. It is about challenging the assumptions. It is also deepening the humanity. So as a reader, we don't just read the stories, but we participate into the moral reflection. And literature does not tell us what is right. It teaches us how to think about what is right. And in that process, it transforms not just our minds, but our moral being. So I hope that you enjoyed this whole lecture, and I'm hoping to come back with another amazing and fascinating topic. So till then, take care.